Me and Ryan are here on behalf of the program Hand in Hand Global. They asked us very kindly to speak for them. I think it's a beautiful program because it offers treatment for young adolescents from the ages 12 to 18. And I think that's a beautiful thing because when I was a younger kid, I did not have an opportunity to begin a recovery process. Well, I did, but I didn't see it. And that's why I'm here speaking today, because I did not see any hope when I was an adolescent. And now with this new strictly adolescent-based program, there is a way out, and I believe it's a beautiful thing to have the option to get in recovery as a young adult, and being able to get your life on the right track. If you ever are feeling hopeless and helpless, just know there is a way out, and it works for me. If it can work for me, it can work for anyone.
Yeah, drug abuse really, truly is a horrible thing to have to go through, especially as a kid, as a young kid. As at the age we are, even 12 to 18 is the program range. It could even go younger than that for any kid who's struggling. But I think that we tend to think, as high school students, as middle school students, kids growing up, that everything, any little minute thing feels like the end of the world. And then on top of that, our emotions are even more present and stronger with the use of drugs and alcohol to intervene with that. And the One Step program by Hand in Hand Global gave us the opportunity to speak for these high schools, and we hope that we can change some lives, and that's why we're here. And so a special thanks, and for anybody who's struggling, we're here to help. So.
When I first started a program, I was very scared and frightened about what other people were going to think of me because I was such a young kid going through a recovery process, and I thought I was the only one of the people in my age group suffering from drug abuse. And once I went into detox and found programs similar to Hand in Hand Global, I was able to understand that I'm not alone in my drug abuse as a little kid, or a young adult, I should say, because there are hundreds of other people in the same boat as me. I still felt alone, but once I started connecting with these people and realizing we're all the same, all that fear kind of dropped, and I felt at home. I finally had a sense of feeling at home with my fellows, and it was a beautiful thing. All that fear, I was scared to death walking into my first program, yet the fear was dropped once I understood that everyone here was the same. We all have a common goal, and that's lifetime sobriety, because for us suffering from addiction's a miserable path. Active addiction's a miserable path, but long-term, one day at a time sobriety is a beautiful thing.
It really started when I was, the first addiction I ever had was scratch tickets. So it just goes to show that there's a lot of different addictions that go hand in hand. It doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol. It can be anything. I used to sit on my couch in the middle of the night because my head would keep me up as a little kid, and I'd eat a gallon of ice cream at a time and get sick to my stomach. I used to do a lot of things like that. When I was about 9 or 10, I started stealing cigarettes from my dad and running into the woods and smoking them, and that just all led up to where, I actually started using the real mind-altering substances when I was about 11 or 12 years old, maybe, early 12 years old, and I remember the day more vividly than anything else really in my life. So I don't know, stepping foot in the program in 8th grade, and being away for 2 weeks and wondering where my life has gone at such a young age, it was unbelievable feeling to me, how hopeless I felt, and I'm sure Jimmy can relate, along with a lot of other people. So
I would go to high school. My high school life essentially was I was going to high school to see my friends. Maybe freshman year, I was going there basically just to see my friends and going high and like show off, like, oh, look at me, I'm so high right now. Like, you're not high like I am, because I thought it was cool. And and that progressed into me going to school only to sell drugs. And then it progressed into me going to school to find kids with pain medications whose parents had them in their cabinets waiting for people to take. And that was my drug of choice, was pain medication at the beginning. So I'd go to school and look for those, and if I couldn't find them, I'd go home and find them in my parents' cabinet, because they're everywhere. It was an epidemic, and I wouldn't say I'm a victim to it because it is pain medication, but I was definitely a volunteer that acted on the aspect of them that can get you high, and I abused them heavily. So that's where I was going to high school. That was my high school life before I found detox and a better way of life. It's beautiful. I go to school. I just finished applying to college. I'm hopefully getting into a couple of them. And my goals, like I was saying earlier, my goals are, I could do anything, honestly. I'm a young person in recovery, and that is a beautiful thing for me. I have the ability to get to college on time, as starting freshman year in college on time, and now I'm just going to school. My first priority is to do my homework, do my work, do my classwork, and then I just have fun, man. Like, I can have fun sober in school.
Why don't you make an honor roll?
I made honor roll. Last term I made honor roll 2 A's and 2 B's, and then this term I made honor, almost high honors. I had a B plus in one class, so my high school perspective is just completely turned around.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, for me, it really started like in you know, the middle of middle school. You know, the heavy substance abuse, really. And you know, I used to go into school high too, and I wasn't present, you know, and a lot of the parents of the other kids, you know, I think taught their kids that stay away from that kid, he's bad, and you know, he made those choices, and you know, it's all his fault that he did that. He's ruining his own life. And in reality, yes, I did play some part in it, but I was just innocent at the time, really, and I was testing the waters, and I didn't know how dangerous the waters really were, and it just progressed so fast. You know, within a blink of an eye, I was sick. You know, there was bags under my eyes, and you know, my hair was long. I didn't care about my hygiene, my mental health. You know, nothing really mattered but getting high. So when I stepped foot into a sober high school, the community was so welcoming, and I remember crying for the first time in a long time, and it wasn't tears of sadness, it was of joy. You know, I didn't even have tears of sadness or joy when I was using, because everybody was so kind to me, and the recovery counselors and everybody there, including the students, were all very supportive of me, and still are. You know, I too have the highest grades of my entire life right now. Like last quarter I had 1A, and all the rest were B pluses, and this quarter, because it's the last half of my junior year, I'm looking to get high honors for the last half of the year, the next 2 quarters, because I'll be applying for college and starting that new chapter in my life. So yeah, it's just, I'm looking forward to making a beautiful life, you know, and especially with this kid right here, my best friend, most definitely. So